Excellent.
Okay, today let's take a look at the RetroFlag SUPERPi4 case. This is for your Raspberry Pi 4, and it comes in the form factor of a Super Nintendo PAL version. You can buy this case on Amazon for $25. You'll find more information there as well as at retroflag.com. I'll leave links in the description to both those websites. Now, this case has a storage cartridge for micro SD cards. I'll show you that in a bit. It also has a power LED indicator, a functional power and reset button, along with a safe shutdown script, which I will go over later. Now, you may be familiar with the Nintendo RetroFlag case with the SSD. If you're interested in the Nintendo version, I will leave links in the description to Wagners Tech Tips, where he will explain everything about that case and more. Just beware that this SNES case does not offer the SSD option. So let's take a look at this case and unbox it. Some instructions. And here is the case itself. That top flap acts as an additional micro SD storage, and the button in the middle there actually ejects it. You'll see that later. And as a comparison to the size of the Nintendo case, it's about the same size, actually a tad smaller. Let's open it up and see what's inside. Now, this piece right here is actually the flap for the LAN and USB ports that are on the side. I'll show you that later. This is actually the cartridge that goes on top. You'll put a sticker on it, and it makes it look like a cartridge sitting in the top of the unit itself. They give you two stickers to choose from. And that magnet there, I'll show you how that works and gets installed in the case so the cartridge fits in nicely. It also gives you a warning. Please remove the SD card from your Pi before installing. Make sure you do that or you will break the SD card most likely. They give you 4 feet that you will apply to the bottom of the case once done. And you get 7 screws, 3 black and 4 silver, which I will go over where those go during installation. Now, the first thing you're going to want to look at is the reset and the power buttons that are on this controller board. You want to make sure the power button is in the off position before putting the top on. And the reason is you need to line up the grooves of the power button on the top of the case. Make sure the top of the case has the power switch in the down position. Then when you put on the top, it will fit properly. Now at this time, if you're going to use the safe shutdown script, you're going to want to put the switch to on at this time. Right there in that yellow circle is where you'll find that safe shutdown script on off switch. Make sure to turn it to the on position if you're going to use that. As for the fan actually goes in that one slotted groove right there, and it is on the bottom of the case, which I'm not so sure I like that for ventilation. But that's how they set it up. Now, you don't have to take off this controller board in order to get the fan in. It will actually snap in. But I have screws for my fan and I wanted to secure it so it wouldn't wobble or shake when on. So I took the controller board on, popped it in, and then added 2 screws to the fan just to secure it a little better. If you have any wobbliness in your fan, you're going to want to screw it in and do this step. Now, the fan is sold separately. It does not come with the case. We screw the controller board back on. It didn't really take that long. Make sure when you plug the pins for the fan power, the red is the positive, the black is the negative. And your fan will function accordingly. Now, the next step is to connect the Raspberry Pi and insert it into the designated location. We're going to take this 2-prong USB-A connector and we're going to put it into the far 2 USB ports. The instructions will show you how accordingly. And the wire is going to be going across the top of the Raspberry Pi, not underneath. And then you're going to take the harness from the controller board and you're going to plug it into the GPIO pins as shown in the instructions on the far right. There is a lip or an edge on the connector, which really prevents you from putting it on incorrectly, but you'll notice it goes on the right side of the pins. Once you securely fasten that, you're going to insert the Pi as the instructions show. And once you get it to fit in correctly, you'll feel it kind of go into place as normal when the HDMI ports and the power ports and the audio kind of get right into those grooves, as well as the holes for the screws will line up with the case at this time. Now we're going to take the 3 black screws and we're going to screw in the 3 black screws into the screw holes that the instructions say. Although there are 4 holes in the Pi to screw 4 screws into, you're only going to use 3 of them and leave that one open, the top right. Now you're going to notice these wires kind of stick up a little bit, and they kind of bump the top of the case when you put the top of the case on, especially the harness from the controller board. You're going to have to kind of push it down a little bit with a little bit of force and get it in the right location in order for it to fit on there. It may take a little pressure to get it down. Once you get it situated correctly, you're going to take the 4 silver screws and screw them into the bottom of the case, and you're going to have to use a little bit of force to get these screws in all the way, but again, be careful not to strip them at the same time. You want that case to be tight, but you don't want to strip the screws at the same time. If you don't want to use the storage cartridge, you also have the top of the case that acts as a micro SD storage as well, with that eject button right there. Taking a look at the storage cartridge, this comes apart and acts as a micro SD storage compartment. Simply slide it back up and snap it into place to put it back together. Now, attaching this storage cartridge with this magnet was not explained well, but what you want to do is you want to put the magnet underneath that flap right there. I held it in place because it'll slide around, and then you want to take the storage cartridge, make sure those grooves are aligned properly, and just magnetize it on that flap right there, and it'll stay, and then you push it down and it snaps into place. We'll add the sticker to make it look more like a cartridge, and we're all set. I'm not sure how much I like the magnet being close to all those electronics, but it should be fine. Well, next we'll add the feet, and once that is done, the case is fully assembled. And in my opinion, I'll take a $50 Pi4, $25 case over an ugly looking Evercade any day of the week. Taking a look at the side of the unit, that is where you will find your additional 2 USB ports as well as your Ethernet port. I was hoping that piece would stay connected and just act as a flap, but it does not. And you'll actually notice they have the engravings of LAN and USB backwards on that little piece right there. Now the last step will be adding the safe shutdown script. We're going to turn our unit on. You're going to power the switch up to the on position, then give your Raspberry Pi power and boot up right into RetroPi if you're using RetroPi. And I'm going to add the safe shutdown script by going to a browser in my desktop and copying the script and pasting it right into a terminal. So here you're going to see me open up web browser. The URL that you're going to want to go to is in your instruction manual. I'll type it in here for you and leave a link in the description as well. Now you don't need to do it this way. You can simply hit F4, open up a terminal, and type the wget script in manually and run it that way. Here you will find the GitHub instructions on how to add this safe shutdown script. Now don't add the RetroFlag GPI case script. You want to scroll down to the one for the Pi case, SNESPi, and you're going to make sure that your Raspberry Pi is connected to the internet, or this will not work. You're going to need a keyboard or mouse to copy the script over. And I'm just going to select the wget script right there on the bottom. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back to a terminal from my desktop. And here I'm just going to paste that script right there, hit enter, and let it run. It finishes very quickly and then auto reboots. Boots me back up into RetroPi, and at this point you're going to see your power LED start to light up. Once it's done rebooting, your power LED will be on, your power switch will be in the on position, and you can simply turn the power off, and the safe shutdown script will operate as normal. Hey, that's it for this video. Leave any questions if you have them, and thanks for watching The Rexer Show.